Guys, welcome to the General's Wise Words. I want to start off this whole segment by watching a little video that came up one day on my Facebook. It's about 50 Cent. You know, I'm a big 50 Cent fan. You know, me, 50, LeBron James, we all came out in 2003, and we're still killing it, my famous line. So I want to pop up this video real quick here just for you guys to watch it, and then I'm going to break it down for you.
I try not to surround myself with people that I have to be defensive around. You know, and that is a defense mechanism. Like, anger is a more comfortable feeling to deal with than having your feelings be hurt, or a person did something, you being disappointed. Some of these guys, they're gonna roll with anybody that will embrace them and just be in every circle, period. And I'm like, I'm not really comfortable with that. If a person's on the gate, I kind of put them on the other side, so I don't leave myself vulnerable.
I think seeing that video, I'm going to break down. I think for a lot of successful and powerful people, we get a lot of people want to jump into our camps, to come into our circles. But one of the basic things that people don't realize is just the basic respect. And I think that when someone takes you into their wing and they're trying to teach you something, I break down the example of this. If you're in there with Arnold Schwarzenegger and he's teaching you all about bodybuilding, and you're over there talking about Lou Ferrigno and his competition or who this and that, and you ain't shit, you're not even in the same circle. You're not even at the same altitude. So why even talk about people? Because all you do is sound like a groupie. At that point, that mentor, he no longer can mentor you. Then he looks at you as a piece of the competition. And people don't realize that they lose so much in their lives because their mouth gets them out of trouble. And I've seen and from my perspective is that, you know, sitting with big guys, like I call them part of the titans in life, like Joe Maez and Michael Montoya and guys that I deal with on a daily basis. One thing I've learned is when they're mentoring somebody and they come out and they start trying to compete with them, it's not cool. It's pretty stupid because, as you saw with 50 Cent, the moment you got to start feeling defensive about things in life, you're not going to be your natural self. So all of a sudden, you're not going to get the best version of that individual. You're going to get the defensive version. And I found myself that I don't like being around people like that, no matter what it is, even if it's small talk. You know, I think I've been in my life, and I've been around people who are, you know, trying to talk about the card game, and they're like, "Well, have you seen so and so?" Or in that sense, almost like creating this competition. And when you know anything about the fucking general, the general, number one, doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks, but number two, I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm in competition with myself. One thing I've never let enter my heart is envy. I'm never envious of individuals. I'm happy with what their accomplishments are. Whatever they do, I'm like, wow, that's pretty freaking awesome. I remember one time when I was coming up in my game, I met a guy named Rick Kosas. He was probably one of the most successful guys I knew at the time. And seeing all the stuff that he had accomplished, I wasn't ever sitting like, man, I want to dethrone that guy. My whole thing was I want to learn from him, but you got to be quiet. I think another good thing that came to my mind was I studied with the Grand Master, and he one time told me, one day you're going to challenge me for who's going to be the better. And I thought, not who I'm built. And it's not, I told him at the time, it's not in my culture, but that's a lie. It wasn't in the culture. It's how I was raised. And my own personal feeling is how I feel. So if someone's going to teach me, I'm always going to keep you on a pedestal and give you that homage. And I'm not going to try to outdo you. I'm not going to try to outscore you. I think a lot of people take that whole thing in mentorship. Why would I want to set up my next competition? That's the dumbest shit ever. And I think that's what people don't understand is, you know what, guys, learn to shut your mouth and learn to listen. And you know what, be grateful. And, you know, all those opportunities that come your way, they may not come sometimes. So my advice and General's Wise Words is, you know what, always be present. Be thankful. Don't run your mouth because you don't know who you're offending when you're running your mouth. And like I said, you make that individual defensive, you're not going to get the best thing out of him. You make anybody in your life that you give a shit about defensive, you're not going to get the best out of them. What you're going to get is you're going to get the defensive person out. So today, that's wise words. I hope you got something out of this clip. Tune into the Truth Podcast. We're doing a lot of cool stuff focused around fitness, but I want to hit you guys with these short clips, keep you motivated. The General's out.